and welcome to Stitching with Cindy Bass. Today I'd like to start a new series that I'm going to be doing, and that is Learn a Block through pot holders. Now if you don't want to make your block into a pot holder, that's fine. Of course, I'll be going through the directions on how to make this block. This is called our editor, and it is from the Quilter's album of Patchwork Patterns by Jinny Beyer. And this is a great resource if you don't have it. It is just a marvelous resource with lots and lots of color photographs of different blocks, and what's great is it shows you the date of when it was published, so you'll know if it's a public domain block. This block is from 1906, so it is a public domain block, and it consists of some flying geese and half square triangles. So I consider this to be an easy pattern. If you'd like the copy of the pattern that I typed out, you can email me at the Stitcher's Choice Workspace at gmail.com, and I can email you a copy of this pattern. So in Jinny's book, you just get a little snapshot photo of a block, and then it gives you who published it and the date, and the beginning of the book gives you lots of details about grid work and designing blocks and things like that. It's a great resource to have. I got mine on Amazon. So let's start talking about our first block that I'm going to do, which is our editor. Again, I consider it to be an easy block because it is just half square triangles and flying geese. Now when you look at my pot holders, my points here are cut off, and that's because with the pot holder there's so many layers to sew through. Just doing a simple 1/4 inch seam really isn't enough. But if you would like to have your points more showing and not cut off, I suggest just adding another inch to all 4 sides of your pot holder, so that when you sew the batting and everything in together, you'll have just a little mini border and your points will show. It'll make just a little larger pot holder. Making 8.5 inch blocks. By the time you get this nice thick seam here, it's a little bit under 8. Okay, so let's begin. So for this project, you're going to need 2 colors. And with the 2 colors, you're going to need to cut strips with the fabric at 2.5, 3.5 for the colors. And that is just a matter of assembling. Now, this takes the flying geese. It needs 2 with the white centers, and then it needs 4 with blue centers. Now to construct the flying geese, you take a 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangle, and you lay a 2.5 by 2.5 inch square on it. You draw the diagonal and sew on the diagonal right on the line, and then trim it and press it back to make your flying geese unit. And you'll have to make 2 with the white centers, and then you're going to do the same process, laying first square on, sew the diagonal, cut and trim, fold back, press, and repeat like I just showed you with the white one. All right, and you just draw that diagonal and cut and press back. You just got to be mindful that your diagonal makes the point. It would be very sad if you did the sewing and it was like this. That is not going to give you the design you need. Okay, so just be aware of which way your diagonal is, that you do have it going in the correct direction. And that's also important when you're sewing it together, because you want things to line up correctly. So you're making your flying geese units, and then you're going to make your half square units. Now you only need 4 half square triangle units for each block, so I'm using the 2 at a time method. I cut my 3.5-inch square, laid it on top of the other square, same size, drew my line, and sewed 1/4 of an inch on each side of that line. Okay, then you just a matter of trimming on the line, and you will have your 1/4 inch seam. And I use I believe it's the Quilt in the Day ruler for half square triangles. And there's a couple different things on the market. You just square that up to 2.5 inches and you are good to go. All right. So then for this block to assemble it, I made a row across the top using my flying geese and a half square triangle. And then there would be another half square triangle. All right, so you got a half square triangle, flying geese, half square triangle. Then for rows 3 and 4, I made a combination row. And how I did that was I just put the 2 flying geese together, like so, to make the center unit. And then I sewed on the 2 side units. Just sew those right together. So that's row 2 and 3. This row goes on top. And again, watching where the triangles point to get the final design. And then again, the bottom is the same process. You have on both sides of the flying geese, you have a half square triangle. So the half square triangle goes this way. Okay, but you can see if you turn this, you get a whole different design. I'm going to put it on this side so you can see well. All right, look at it, just totally changes the design. Get my hand out of the way. Flip this back over. So really be mindful of correct placement for the way the triangles point. So that constructs your block. Then what I do is I take my block top and I lay that block top on a piece of flannel for my pot holders. And then I, iron this down so there's no wrinkles. And then I quilt just the top through 1 layer of flannel. All right, just doesn't seem to be as hard on the machine for the quilting. Then laying down that quilted portion, I lay my backing piece right sides together. So I am just going to go like this to demonstrate. So it would be right sides up. You're going to want to add your tab at this point. Now I only use for these a 2.5-inch wide strip, fold it in half, press, then fold those raw edges into the fold line. Fold it over. You can make it as big as you want hole-wise or smaller. And then I just make sure that the raw edges are gonna be encased in the seam allowance. Okay, I like to put it down from the corner a ways just to make trimming easier. And I usually sew that to the top first, just so that it's one less clip in my way. Okay, so then you have your back right sides together. Then I add my Insulbright. Oh, I'm sorry, misspoke. Next I layer my 2nd layer of flannel. Then I lay down my Insulbright. Sew all 4 sides, leaving a nice big wide opening to turn it. Turn it right side out and press it nicely. And here is, I believe, where I've tucked it under. It's hard to tell, so that means I did a good job. And then just make a nice top stitching to hold all the layers together. If you want to do another little stitch here to keep the center together, oh, excuse me, by all means, that would be perfectly fine. And I just think it comes out really cute. Very nice little block. This is the our editor block. It's 8.5 inches before I turn it into the pot holder. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tell your friends. You know, always hit that like and subscribe button. That's awesome too. And I'll join you again for another block from the Quilter's album of Patchwork Patterns by Jinny Beyer. No, sorry, Beyer. And I hope to learn quite a few blocks this year. That's one of my goals. So I hope you'll join me. You have a great night. Bye now.